And doing so, the guy shot and owned the place down there. And he was about a mile almost from the house, down on the Oak River. Well, he had crab floats, floats.
Oh, I got blurry one.
That's okay.
Crab pot floats. And I got it sitting out there on the porch. And what had happened was, I'm thinking, and we don't know for sure, but he might have shot the other guy's dog. He's never seen from that day to this, and it's been a year ago now. A year ago this November. Now, doing so, he didn't want any dogs bothering down in on his property. Well, it's right down in on a marsh. Broke Tank Creek runs down beside him. It's about as wide as run Broke Tank Creek, and some spots a little wider. Well, anyway, my dog was down there running also. That weekend, I didn't miss anything. The next weekend, another shot. Alan was with me. And when he was with me, bless you, I got down to where I could go to the farthest point. Was a metal gate here and a chain here. And the dog was running, we could hear him about before I'm headed to the church over there, a little further. I said, Alan, here, take this leash. And I said, don't take your gun, leave it in the truck. Just in case he's down there, since he shot the week before. Not knowing what happened, this guy's dog was gone. Alan got, I don't know how far from him, where he shot. And he's coming out the woods and says, I shot a coon, I shot a coon. I said, oh, yeah? Well, he didn't hear a dog bark, because a lot of times you shot a shooter's dog like he'll bark.
Well, I mean, once you shoot them, that's when the coons would go barking and chewing on them.
And steady barking the trail, and then that might not stick to the bark if it was by itself or whatever. Well, nevertheless, Alan says something to him, and he kind of got nasty. And Alan says, oh, well, okay, I'm just trying to find my dog. Had the leash in his hand, so he come on and he told me about it. I said, well, Alan, he could have shot the boy. And the dog's name was Boy Dog. And I got his sister, Girl Dog. She was lost for 3 months. From January the 3rd to May the 15th or 15th, I forget which, I found her. And she's tied up there now. Sweet little thing, they're like a mother's tied up to that cedar tree. Well, nevertheless, that night, that boy was tracking my dog because the battery had gone dead in my tracker. So he said that dog is over in that marsh and it could be on the island over there and couldn't come out. Whether the tide was high or what, I don't know. But being that we were, we couldn't tell where the tide was. And he says, well, it was about 9 o'clock that night. I said, well, I'm going home. I said, it's cold and frosty, and I was just halfway tired out and didn't feel like going. And I couldn't go anymore because I didn't have my boots on. So he had waited in there in the meantime before he come back to me, up to his over his knees in boots and blah, 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 and soaking wet, cold as heck. So he went on home and cut his dogs the next morning. He said, I can still track that dog. He called me and said, I can still track that dog on that 28. And I said, well, that dog, I don't believe. He said, well, I'll wait till the tide is high tonight, and I'll come back here with a flat bottom boat, skiff like, so to speak, back to or whatever you want to call it. And then marsh is about as wide in some places here to you where you can't get a bigger boat in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he was tracking, went on out into York Road, and come on back up in there. Lo and behold, that collar, this other one, that's rusted all up was a 28 collar that my dog, he had shot.
He shot it.
He shot it. And I haven't seen that dog mandated with this. But he found that collar that night, tracked it with his tracker, box. And going on out there with a guy with him, called the sheriff and the game warden. Next day they went down to this guy's house, and he lives in Richmond. and he cornered it with that collar tied to that float out there and caught. Now I'll go get it and show you since
He tied it to the
I'll show you.
crab float.
I'll show you. Oh, no, I don't know anything about that. That crab pot pumps all around the house, crab pots. And not all on that number and all on it. But that still don't prove that he did it. You got to see him in action.
Right.
That's my story. Morning glory. But anyway.
But that was a good dog you had for a long time.
That was a good running. I mean, 2-year-old, just starting his 2nd year running. His brother's out there now, looks like a tramp. Entirely a different dog, but he'll run himself to death, but no appearance as far as looks. Looks is not everything. He's got the ability and the stamina to go and do it. But anyway, I didn't mean to stop y'all and talk about a dog story.
Listen to any story you got.
Yeah,
we love our dogs and love our pets, and we know how that feels.
Oh, you zoomed right in on that.
Yeah.
Show Uncle Lew.
Let me see what you got. You know that's old Bob. Bob is going on 10 or 11 years old.
Wow.
And I mean, he's been a good dog.
He's got an 11-year-old too.
What did I tell you? Did you get the one at the tree, little black dog?
If you take a picture of each dog, you can go through and he'll tell you what their names are.
Yeah.
That's Bob. You remember Bob? Bob.
He's got a dog out there named Girl Dog.
Girl dog.
He's
Aww.
got a girl dog out there.
Girl dog.
And I sold a sister to her. She had a regular tail like a hog. Unbelievable. The guy, I made him sign a contract. Because I've had so many, I let a guy go 3 months one time before he paid me. And that joker was a dealer, dog dealer. I mean a shyster. I finally got my money after 3 months. And I saw him at Lowe's here about 2 months, 3, 4, 5 months ago, I forgot what. His battery went dead and he had his hood up on his truck with a vacant spot next to mine, parking spot. And as I come out to Lowe's, I looked, it was him. I said, fella, with your money, you ought to buy a new truck instead of running that damn piece of junk around. He never said nothing. I thought to myself, sorry, fella. I'll get back at you again one day. And here comes another guy around the truck. You got trouble, fella? A different attitude than mine. I'll be right back. He went through his truck, got his toolbox, but that square out, and that tall. Had every socket you wanted, screwdriver, pliers, everything. To make a long story short, he had enough corrosion on his battery and battery post that he could blow it for a week to blow it off.
Huh.
So he had gotten it off some, but he didn't have a wrench that would fit him. Did you get, you know what that dog's name is? Well, that's Lady.
Lady.
And I think you got another dog here. That's Dot.
Dot.
Dot and Lady. And I got Dot sold. Dot's all sold.
Dot.
And you got how many out there? 15?
15.
The Dot is a family name.
That's a blue tick.
Yeah.
That Dot is a blue tick. Her brother was the best dog I've had.
Okay.
So, I forgot what I was talking about now.
Oh, the guy with the battery and it didn't have the socket to get the corrosion.
Oh, well, he got it all for him. And by that time, I told him, I said, you gotta go buy you a new truck, fella. I got my truck and left. But, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be that way, Andy, but when you get enough digging and scratching, you kind of get tough.
Yeah.
And I meant every word I said to him, and I haven't seen him since. I can tell that. Oh, yes, I did. I see him in Southern States. Have you got any diggers for sale? I said, no, not to you. Right there, everybody standing around listening. I didn't care that.
Just gonna take a
Okay.
look.
Well, there's givers and takers, and
No,
you know, you
couple
obviously
here today.
you got some takers living around you. So what's your schedule like every day?
Well, what?
Schedule.
Sitting in the street reading, compiling, getting all kind of literature out to Progressive Farmer Magazine, Mother Earth News. Unbelievable what they have in there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have time now. I don't feel like working because of the hot sun. I can't go out there. I don't have no fat under my skin like you do. And that sun just burned till it feels like I got my hand up almost against a stove light bulb.
I never thought of that. That hurts.
Hurts.
Oh.
So I got to wear a long sleeve shirt most of the time. I need gloves on from cutting grass with the lawnmower.
So that's what this fat under my skin is good for now?
That's right.
Keep the sun off of me?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But it
I
burned.
never thought about
There's
that.
chickens
My
out there
grandmother
too, and they're really
blacked out.
special kind of
I
chickens.
did.
Did you see it?
I did.
She went to the too.
But-
If you
but-
get the
Listen,
gray
from bruise,
head
and
out
I don't know
there,
what that scar is.
it's black and
But the
gray.
itches every
See
so
if you
often.
can take a picture of that.
And I was taking a cortisone,
Did you see
40
there's a couple of them running around?
a 40. Oh, now I can't find it if I want to try to tell y'all. Show you. Anyway, it looks like a pen with a eraser on it.
Oh, okay.
And a little needle on it that you screw on. About the size of half your head, only about a quarter of an inch long. And I just put it in the fatty part of my belly down here, where it would stick in.
Mm-hmm.
After you turn it, it's got the medicine in it. You turn it to one, then you shoot it out of this, in the air in and out of it. So the air don't get inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn it to two, and that's when you stick it in after you wipe it off or whatever. And squirt it in. That's all there is to it. They put the cap back on, and Mark, I did it for 2 years. Well, 2 years went by, and I went up to medical college, McGuire Hospital, veterans. And they told me that my bone density had gone up to 10 degrees. I said, well, good. Because that's what's the problem. I'm a low density bone, osteoporosis, like women get.
Right.
And I mean, between the pain and unbalance and less muscles, you name it thing, it's a miserable life.
Yeah.
And it hit me in December, and that when it hailing and cold, that frosty cold morning, and freezing ice walking around everywhere. My lungs just couldn't take it. Bronchial tubes were just shot. And I come on down with bronchitis, and I still got a touch of it now. And a woman told me the other day that I noticed that she had it 2 months ago. Finally got over it. Well, I never knew anything about bronchitis before, but I do now.
Mm-hmm.
January, I went to the doctor, got antibiotics in McGuire. And my medication is only $8 a prescription, and now I'm not making enough money. I get them free. My gosh, and look what a prescription is now. I just got some the other day, it was $45 at Walmart in Gloucester. $100 and some for heart medicine. But I can't get over that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, they diagnosed it up there that day. X-ray technician who was talking, it was bronchitis. They gave me antibiotic and didn't knock it out. So March I went back up again, give me another antibiotic. That didn't knock it out. May I went back again. That didn't knock it out, another antibiotic.
And you're taking them for 2 weeks?
No, you only have a pill about 5 pills in a prescription.
Yes, it seems like, they want to give you less anymore, and
No, that's what the prescription calls
Yeah.
for, and that's what it is. Depending on what the germ is they're trying to get.
right.
They got a different antibiotic kind of stand out for everything that's wrong with your body. Well, anyway, it didn't either one of
Here
them
you go.
do any good. Thank you. Now I'll be getting calls in. Where's Andy? Hello? Bye-bye. Did you hear?
Yeah.
That's for coming Tuesday. Now Donna will be up. We're going together. She wanted to hear the doctor about my knee. My right knee. I hadn't got into that. I got too much to tell you, Andy.
Yeah, but for the hip and knee replacement, was it your hip and knee? Or 2 different knee replacements that you've gone through?
98 knee, 90 hip. I'm 20 years with the hip. 10 years overdue. And this morning when I got out of bed, I had that awful pain down the left side of my leg, all down my heel. Never had that before. And I couldn't figure. I have to kind of watch my step from falling now, also as you can see. But nevertheless, I don't know what that was all about. But I'll find out, but it finally wore away.
With the bronchitis thing that you had?
Huh?
You're talking about the bronchitis thing that finally went away? The bronchitis that you had that finally went away?
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, I'll get back to that now.
Okay.
So, after that in March, it didn't do any good. So I went over here to Walter Reed in Gloucester, Riverside Walter Reed. And they put me on an antibiotic. That didn't do any good. So I went back again 2 or 3 weeks ago over Walter Reed. And each one of them was bronchitis. Wasn't no emphysema. And I don't know about cancer. Hadn't had a biopsy yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing here was bronchitis. Or TB. I've had everything checked to find out. But nevertheless, they, when I went in the emergency room, I went in the emergency room this time. I said, "My gosh, I'm going to find out something."
I'm going to say the same things to my family
And
as I would say to
the woman doctor, she was real nice.
the
And
relationship that I want to have.
she gave me 2 antibiotic pills, kind of like the color of that book, light color, blue. And 3 morphine. I didn't know morphine was in a tablet.
I've always seen it as a...
Huh?
Yeah, you should have thought it was in the.
Oh, they give me a shot in the knee later, I'll get to that. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about a pill.
Yeah.
Pill. 3 pills. Then a prescription of 4 antibiotic pills from Walmart I picked up. And that seemed to do the best that I've had yet, that visit to that. And otherwise, I would be wheezing. Every time I take a deep breath, but I kind of lost that. And in the last 3 weeks, I've been but spitting up a lot of phlegm. And it's been clear until yesterday morning, had a little bit of gray in it. They asked me if there's any color to it or whatever.
Right.
Well, then since, it was one time, it was just a little kind of orangey to it, grayish orange. Hey, goodness, I'm sitting up here.
There you can find that one, Deja.
They all going crazy.
Is that the guinea hen or?
The Guineas. They're chasing the Guineas now.